Well, the leaks just keep on coming and coming and coming in. What's going on, guys? My name is Mesa and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Okay, folks, we've got a bombshell of a leak that hit yesterday, and we're going to go over it in this video, and it does tie into previous leaks that I went over about a week ago. And like I say in all of these videos right at the beginning, take them with a grain of salt. None of this is confirmed. However, it does kind of tie in with what we're seeing in the game right now with regards to the pyramids, and also they just kind of interlink with themselves in terms of the leaks. And they all seem plausible. They really do. So let's get into the video, guys. If you enjoy it, a like rating is very much appreciated. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. We are so close to 300,000 subscribers. And as I pointed out last week, well, we've dropped the number. 61.2% of you guys are not subscribed to watch my videos. So the number's going lower, so we're doing something right. So please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my content. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to link the videos to the previous leaks that I covered, the fall expansion and also the summer DLC that's coming up. The leak that we're going to discuss today is more or less related to the fall expansion and clarifying some things. So let's quickly summarize, or I'll try to quickly summarize what was in the previous leaks. Now, again, take them with a grain of salt. So supposedly a second collapse is coming this fall, and it's going to be because of the pyramid ships. Now, one of the things they said in the original leak was that the reason why the seasons have been so dry right now is that most of the studio is working on the fall expansion and bringing in content from Destiny 3 into Destiny 2 because of the Activision split. The expansion has been in the works for some time now, around 2 years, and originally was planned for Destiny 3, but it's being retooled. Now, they're calling it Collapse. That's like the placeholder we think that they're calling it. Is going to be the big one, and story-wise, we'll focus on the first arrival of the pyramids, although we do know that the pyramids should be arriving this summer based on what we're seeing over in the bunkers. However, we're not actually going to face them or fight them, this new enemy race called the Veil, until the fall expansion. They did say in the leak straight up, Darkness will finally be the main villain, front and center of the expansion. Very interesting character from what they've seen, and takes the form of a very ghostly veiled woman, sort of like as the statue in the pyramid. It has a nickname of a sort throughout the collapse called the Winnower, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Now, I'm teeing this up, guys, like I said before, because the new leak is going to kind of fine-tune all of this stuff here, and kind of makes sense. So they say the expansion focuses around 2 destinations. That's supposedly what we're getting. Europa, finally, and also the finality. That's going to be the massive city inside the Winnower's core pyramid. Originally depicted in D2 vanilla concept art, but we'll finally go there to actually see and put an end to this Winnower. And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Correct me in the comment section. All right, huge focus on darkness abilities. New darkness subclass for each class respectively. However, the new leak does clarify something with this that I'm not exactly happy with, but we'll get into it. Callus, Mara Sov, and Eris Morn are all significant presences throughout the Collapse's storyline. The Veil is supposedly the name of the new enemy race, and we've heard that one for a pretty long time now. So, they said in the initial leak, the Veil are the first new truly alien enemy race to the series, not counting Scorn and Taken, which in a nutshell are reskins pretty much, sort of. They have a very H.R. Geiger ghostly look to them. And they say the Veil have the most enemy units out of any race thus far, a standout being a large earthly golem-looking creature. And this is some old concept art that I found here, and just run with it. What do you think of this picture? When the leak hit, they said that it would be revealed, or this fall expansion would be revealed 2 months from now, which would be in June. They also say, like Forsaken, Collapse will have a flagship raid revolving around a descent into the Winnower's domain. Deep inside the finality, seems as if we'll be destroying the darkness in a physical form in this raid. New strikes are also coming, and this new leak is going to clarify a whole bunch of this stuff. Let's quickly just burn through the summer DLC leak that I covered last week, so you don't have to go back and watch that video. Supposedly, it's called Season of the Deep, and Rasputin's going to smolder the Almighty to ashes at the end of Season of the Worthy. We know that's a fact because it's already in the data mined audio file. Season 11 is the biggest yet and revolves around the coming arrival of the pyramids teased in Season 10. Okay, we know that's happening. And also, Bungie did say in the Vidoc that each season will lead into the next one and that it's going to come to one big crescendo at the end of Season 11. Supposedly, in this Season of the Deep, well, we're going to have a new 6-player activity that's going to be quote-unquote darkness influence, where enemies will begin appearing all across the solar system, sort of like the Taken invasion from Destiny 1. Essentially, the darkness are closing in on the city, and its influence will be taking hold, and they say Scorn, Taken, and Hive are the season's primary threat. The storyline is that they are all essentially beginning to be corrupted by the darkness's presence, which kind of falls in line because we're not going to actually fight these new bad guys called the Veil until September. So it looks like they're going to take the enemies we have now and they're going to be corrupted. Anyway, the new 6-man activity will involve the Moon Pyramid. That's another thing that makes me believe this one is because, well, we do have the assets of a pyramid in the game right now. So the new 6-player activity is, well, it's going to be in the Moon Pyramid. The season involves Guardians returning there for 8 visits within the darkness/deep, akin to the Queen meetings that we had in Forsaken. The new activity will be set there. The activity right now is called Expedition, and they say very Indiana Jones inspired, and the objective is essentially boarding the pyramid to claim artifacts against the darkness while fighting back against nightmares and darkness corrupted enemies. 3 new adventures coming to the moon. Bungie wanted to bring back the nightmares into the spotlight with this DLC expansion. So let's move into this new leak now. Again, take it with a grain of salt before you beat me up in the comments section. So they kick it off with saying, the previous leak for Collapse was from an employee who has not been involved in the process of development for Collapse for nearly a year and posted what they remembered. I'm not here to further elaborate previous points made, but also provide further insight into the development for the upcoming fall expansion. I'm going to chime in on most of these points here and see if my BS detector is going off. And again, take it with a grain of salt before you start beating me up in the comment section. I want all of this to be true just as much as you guys do. So, first off, a few aspects of the previous leak are correct, but slightly outdated. Europa and the area previously described as a finality are still in development. This next point is a bit of a buzzkill if true, but here we go. Darkness subclasses, right? However, have been dropped in favor of fine-tuning currently existing subclasses. By this, I mean that we will be providing further options in how you play your Guardian. So 1, that's a buzzkill if there is no darkness subclasses. It's a buzzkill if we don't get new subclasses. And 2, they're kind of writing this as if they were a Bungie employee, which I find a little bit on the suspect side. The next point is pretty interesting here. Check this out. The previously mentioned Winnower is not the physical incarnation of the darkness, but rather it's an agent comparable to that of the Emissary in terms of their roles. The Winnower will be the final boss for the raid, the name of which is still being currently debated. Well, said raid will actually start in the unknown space before concluding in the finality. It kind of makes sense a little bit because we have the assets for the unknown space in the game. we never use it. Now, it looks like they're doing something, or at least this leak is saying something kind of similar to what happened with Forsaken. When the raid was beaten, then all of a sudden everything went crazy over on the Dreaming City and so forth. But check this one out. Once the first fire team completes the raid, the finality will unlock for all players to explore. Currently, there are 4 encounters in the raid, one of which will be a non-boss encounter like the Vault in The Last Wish. Within this encounter, a new raid mechanic called Ensanguinated will be introduced. This mechanic will also be prevalent in the final boss encounter. Development for Collapse began in summer of 2018. Like the previous leaker mentioned, Collapse was initially intended for Destiny 3. However, our split from Activision... Alright, so there it goes. They're talking like they work from Bungie. However, our split from Activision and our new IP has made the studio come to the conclusion that continued updates and expansions for Destiny 2 would be better for the long term. Let's pretend that all of this is true for a second here. First off, I don't think a Bungie employee would risk their job, their salary, their livelihood, everything to leak this stuff out. If this was 100% true, the leaker got the information but then wrote all of this stuff out in the post to make it look like it came from a Bungie employee to make it seem more legitimate. However, it actually makes it sound more not legitimate. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Moving along here, the next point is, aside from the new story and raid, 4 new strikes are being launched. There will be a strike on each of the new destinations, as well as Titan and the European Dead Zone. I gotta stop right here. Well, Titan, I still think is getting nuked. I think they're going to remove Titan because I feel like the game is too big and they're going to have to remove a destination. And if the pyramids, their first destination that they're going to hit is going to be Titan, I got a feeling Titan is going the way of the dodo. So, I don't know. My BS detector's going up here. Anyway, there are no updates to Gambit or Crucible aside from the sandbox changes for the latter. There will be a mix of new and returning exotics. A new exotic sword called Final Shape will be released, and they're saying Dragon's Breath will return. Now, first off, with the strikes, I really hope we get 4 new strikes. We've needed strikes in the game for a very, very long time. Exotic Sword, okay, I can go with that. Dragon's Breath, you know, that's been a rumor for a really long time that Dragon's Breath was eventually going to come back to D2. Do you guys want Dragon's Breath to come back? I would like it to come back. I just hated that it only had 1 rocket in the tube, but hey, those napalm blasts, I'm all for it. As stated before, Callus, Marisav, and Eris Morn are major characters within the expansion. Callus will reveal his true colors, although I doubt that will stop players from going into his menagerie. I'm not sure what this person means by that. Marisav will provide the introductory quest for players. During this, she'll reveal her plans on how to stop the darkness. Eris will once again act as a guide to players, be their voice of reason, etc. The Drifter is also planned to be a major character, with the results of the Allegiance quest taken full weight. And it's interesting because we went on that whole Allegiance quest and, well, they never did anything with it. Moving along here, the Veil, as stated before, will be the next enemy race. And right now, there's going to be 6 units within their ranks. There are no current solid names for any of these units, and their in-development names relates to chess pieces. Their elemental shields will be Arc and Void. Moving along, Collapse was initially intended to be revealed at E3 2020. However, due to the XYZ pandemic, I can't say the word because I will be demonetized, that plan was unfortunately scrapped. Because of said pandemic, development for Collapse has slowed down but is still going. We still expect the release. See, again, it goes back to them speaking like they're a Bungie employee. To me, that's totally suspect. We still expect to release the expansion sometime in the fall, but I can't guarantee a September release. This almost sounds like a recorded conversation, or they just forget. I'm reading into it too much. All right. Well, remember, we didn't get Shadowkeep until October because they pushed it out. Moving along, Collapse will still be revealed this summer, with the current plans to drop a teaser trailer on June 8th and a full cinematic trailer on July 6th. Now, usually we do get things around that time, so we'll see. Initially, we intended, again, back to the Bungie thing, as if they wrote it as a Bungie employee. So weird. We intended to invite major Destiny content creators to the studio to play the first mission of Collapse, as well as try out some of the new exotics. Once again, due to the pandemic, this was canceled. Then the final points are, I hope this provides further insight into what we have planned. Again, they're talking like a Bungie employee. I made this post in order to ease some tension off the player base. Everyone in Bungie is fully aware of the players' frustrations with the current state of the game. As developers and players, we completely agree. While all of this wasn't intended to be talked about until the summer, I felt it was necessary that players knew what we were cooking up behind the curtain. Stay safe, Guardians. See you this fall. So that's it for the leak, guys. And, you know, like I said before, take it with a grain of salt. I want all of this to be true so badly, you have no idea. I've been obsessed with the pyramid ships and the Veil and having a new enemy race, and if they're going to move Destiny 3 content into Destiny 2, it kind of makes sense because of the Activision pullout. I've discussed that ad nauseum. All right, that's it for the video, guys. Leave me a good old hashtag made it to the end if you did make it to the end. If you'd like to become a channel member and further support this channel, click the link in the description or click join on screen. We've got an amazing Destiny 2 Mesa Army community over on Discord, and we also have some clans set up that the channel members put together on PC, Xbox, and also PlayStation 4. All right, guys, drop a like on this video only if you see fit. Follow me on Twitter at MesaSean. Check out my stream. Usually know it's on YouTube, and that's it. I am out of here like Vladimir.